Download the BCSN Plus app today. Local sports all the time. Visit bcsnnation.com for details. Discounts may apply. Brought to you by State Farm agent Julie Spann Johnson. Covering your bases and protecting your future. Call Julie for all of your insurance needs.
You know where we have to begin.
Oh, absolutely.
The D2 State Baseball Championship, Anthony Wayne defeating Amherst Steel 7-3. How surprising was it the way Anthony Wayne dominated early on in that game?
It was a little bit surprising, but right off the bat, Eli Donawa walked. They got him in scoring position, and Lucas Pakanowicz with a big base hit. It made all the difference in the world, and they weren't done. They kept adding on. They scored in the first 4 innings. They were 7-3 victors, and they were truly the team that deserved to win the state title. But yeah, one thing you didn't mention, I think the day before when they beat Walsh Jesuit 1-0 was the true state title game in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that was a true pitcher's duel throughout. You had Sean Sullivan, the Alabama commit, on the mound for Walsh Jesuit, but on the other side, you had Owen Graff, who played a complete 7 innings. Meanwhile, Sullivan exited in the 7th inning because he threw 98 pitches. Graff throwing 29 fewer. How impressed were you with Graff in that game?
I was totally impressed. The bigger the game, the better that young man pitched. Sean Sullivan's the real deal, make no doubt about it. But they were able to elevate his pitch count. They got him out of there. Anthony Wayne was able to score in the bottom of the 7th inning like they've done and had done in 3 straight games. That was huge for them. And the reason Graff was so important, he went the distance in that game. That allowed Anthony Wayne to save their number 2 and number 3 pitcher in Urinovich and Carter Johnson. And they had 2 arms going into the championship game, whereas their opponent, Amherst Steel, had to use their number 1 and number 2 in the semifinals just to get to the championship game. So Anthony Wayne's arms were more rusted.
It's not very common that you see a team from our area win a state championship. You have Anthony Wayne in 2025, you have Northview in 2022, and then before that, you have to go all the way back to 2000 with Start. So where does this Generals team rank among the best in our area to win a baseball state title?
You know, they're right up there. Start had some dynasties. They had a couple phenomenal teams. I think this Anthony Wayne team is right up there in the same conversation with them because it was a different player every game that came through for them. Northview was tremendous, and it speaks so highly of that NLL Buckeye division with teams going. You know, we haven't even mentioned Perrysburg's been there the last 2 years. They haven't been able to get to the championship, whereas in the regionals, it seemed like Perrysburg was getting those breaks and beating a great Massillon-Jackson team. They were unable to get those breaks against Springboro, and that's baseball. Every game's different, and you got to bring it every single game. And Perrysburg, unfortunately, was unable to do it this time, but you got to have a shout out. Back-to-back return trips to the state Final Four. That speaks volumes of their program and the leadership of Dave Hall.
What is one team you want to spotlight this week?
Well, for me, it's the Findlay Trojans. The Findlay Trojans finished 3rd in that NLL Buckeye division, 19-10 under second-year coach Jordan Nell. And I'll tell you what, the strides that program is making in a short time under Jordan Nell is unbelievable. And I'll tell you what, going into next season, watch out, y'all. The Findlay Trojans could be a real surprise in the NLL.
And you have one final player that you can spotlight this week. Who is it?
It's got to be Lucas Pakanowicz from Anthony Wayne. I got to tell you, I've watched the young man. As a sophomore, he was all Ohio in baseball. This year, he moved up into that key number 3 hitting spot. His offense at the beginning of the year struggled just a little bit, but he picked it up. And when they needed him most, he came through time and time again. His defense at shortstop is remarkable. His power is great. This young man with a great offseason coming into next year, I expect huge things for him.
Pakanowicz batting .405 this season, 34 hits, 28 RBIs, leading an Anthony Wayne team that falls where in your top 10?
They're number 1. I don't think there's a lot of magic about
big surprise.
I'll tell you what, if you look at those 10 teams, we had some remarkable teams all the way from 6 all the way on up, made deep playoff runs. I really can't argue. And you know, Anthony Wayne's been at the top of my poll since about early to mid-April, and they deserved it. They were clearly the best team in Northwest Ohio, and they're Baseball with Bruce's #1 team to finish out the 2025 high school season.
And I want to keep the top 10 up here because the change you see here for the audience watching at home, it's the change from the first week of the season. So if we're going off week 1 alone, obviously you had St. John's at #1. It drops all the way down to 10.
Yep.
Anthony Wayne was at 3 to begin the year.
Yep.
But once Anthony Wayne took that top spot, what was it about the Generals that told you that they can not only make a run this season, but win it all?
Yeah, it's real simple. If you looked at their schedule was brutal.
Yeah.
They opened up with Olentangy,
Who made it to a Final Four.
Yep, Final Four team. They played all the big players. They played Orchard Lake St. Mary's out of Michigan, and they competed, not only competed, they beat most of those teams. I knew they were a dynamic program from the beginning of the year. It was, were they going to be able to hit consistently 1 through 9? They were able to do that, and with that pitching staff, early solidified themselves as the #1 team, and they didn't disappoint.
For the final time, Bruce Johnson joining us in studio, breaking down all things high school baseball. What a season. What was your favorite part about the season?
The Generals winning on Saturday.
It had to be, right? And you got to call the game, so that was pretty cool.
I got to call the game, and we got to do post-game interviews
exactly.
together.
That was fantastic. But thank you so much for everything throughout the season. The coverage has been fantastic.
Thank you. You were a true pleasure to work with.